he's the one laughing now and all them are nearly 60 and looking at it, and he still looks like he could be in his early 40s. I'm kind of hoping that's going to happen to me on a side note, but you never know. The point is, the main battle of this is going to be with your head. If you let it beat you, that's when you're going to be in trouble. Hello guys, how are we? For those of you new here, I'm a psychology student trained to be a therapist, so on this channel we talk about positivity, mindset, well-being, mental health and all things like that. So if that sounds of interest, stick around. Being a late bloomer. Now, this video is going to be pretty much entirely from the male's perspective, because that's the only perspective that I have on things like this. Being a late bloomer when you're a bloke is possibly just the worst thing ever, full stop. Or at least at the time, it feels like it. You're in school and people are sort of like growing up around you, like literally growing up around you. They're growing in height, getting beards or whatever, their voices dropping, whatever it is, and it's more than feeling left out, it's almost humiliating, which is ridiculous because obviously you don't really get a choice in it. But not only is it sort of humiliating because everyone's sort of taking the mickey out of you, but you're also there like, has nature just missed me? Like, am I actually going to get this, or am I just going to be like what I am now forever? Like I said, especially if you're in a male-dominated environment. So I went to an all-boys school. It wasn't sort of a particularly rough all-boys school or anything like that, but I mean, boys don't really pull any punches, certainly not at that age. And yeah, like, you'll notice pretty quickly when you're sort of not developing at the same rate that everyone else is. You end up getting to that stage where words like cute or sweet insults rather than compliments, and personally that's has never really left me. That's probably still the case for me today. I normally do a little bit at the start of the video about sort of where I got the inspiration from this for a video from, but I don't really think I need to go through that on this. I think it's pretty obvious. For context, I'm nearly 27. Sorry, I am 27. Like, I'm nearly 30. I haven't aged since I was 18. I haven't grown height-wise since I was about 15. And there are sort of medical things for that, which I'll talk about later. But just in terms of sort of baby face and everything like that, I'm like the definition of a late bloomer. So anyone watching this, I can feel your pain, and we'll talk about all this in a minute. First of all, to set the thing straight, there's good news and there's bad news, right? Bad news is, if you want to call it bad news, there's nothing you can do about it. It's nature. Again, we'll talk about medical stuff a little bit later. Obviously not a doctor, but we'll touch on that briefly. But in general, it's nature. It's just the pace you develop at, you grow at, you get testosterone at, whatever it is. There's nothing you can really do about it, so there is absolutely no point worrying about it. The good news is, if you actually think about it, it doesn't really change anything, and I'll talk about what that means. As stressful as it is that you feel like you're sort of developing later than everyone else and people are looking down on you and you feel like a child when everyone else is an adult, it doesn't really change anything in the sense of all you can do is live as healthy as possible, physically and mentally, but certainly physically, to sort of make yourself as developed and as strong and healthy as you can be. And that's what you should be doing anyway. So in that sense, the mission, the goal, whatever it is, it doesn't really change. Lifting weights, getting your sunshine, drinking water, eating properly, like, that's what you should be doing in your teenage years, 20s, 30s, 40s. That's what you should just be doing anyway. Obviously, it's a bit frustrating when you feel like you're doing the same work or maybe even more work than other people and you're not seeing any results, but that's kind of life. Again, if you're someone who's going to take sort of your fitness and health properly, that's always going to be the case, really. But again, all you can control is what you can control, so there's no point worrying about nature. The good news is that if you keep doing all those things that we were talking about there that you're supposed to be doing anyway, like, you are going to grow up, like, you are going to hit all your developmental milestones. You're a late bloomer, you're not a non-bloomer, so when that happens, you're almost going to have better preparation than everyone else because you've got yourself into such a good rhythm. Which goes on to say, as everything on this channel is meant to be designed around, the biggest challenge is going to be in your mind, because the last thing you want to do is you're getting to, I don't remember what all the ages were, but like, say you get into your late teens or whatever, and you're really sort of feeling like you're not catching up with anyone else. I know this was certainly the case for me, height-wise. Like, after I had my last surgery in 2011, I literally have not grown an inch since then. So I really started nose sit 16, 17, 18. If you start getting to those times and you go, well, I'm just, this is just how I'm built, I give up, I'm just going to eat like shit, I'm not going to train anymore, then you really are going to start to drop off physically, because then not only is everyone else sort of developing sort of evolutionarily around you, if that's a word, but they're also going to be developing, one, mentally, but two, they're going to be doing the right things to their body, so they're going to be taking leaps and bounds ahead of you, rather than just sort of the nature factors holding you back a little bit. So in terms of sort of big brother advice, or whatever you want to call it, for someone who's certain, I'm guessing a reasonable amount older than most of you guys watching, and like obviously I'm giving this a little cut at the moment, but I am an absolute baby face. I'm very, very short for a bloke. I'm quite like I go to the gym, but I'm a reasonably small stature as it is. Like, you just learn to deal with it. When you're a teenager, it seems so important, maybe even your early 20s, and everyone will take the mickey out of you about it, especially if you're in school or whatever. But once you get to your sort of early 20s, especially if you surround yourself with like good friends who like are actual adults and not immature, no one actually cares. Again, if you're living healthy and everything like that, it doesn't really matter on that side of things. And on the flip side, if you go, oh no, well, what if people... My dad's mates left college in, I think, 1989. They still have a couple of blokes in their group who are a bit shorter, and every time they go anywhere, even to this day, if there's a short bloke, they go, oh, I didn't know Ian was coming. Like, we're men, we take the mick out of each other. That's just life, whether it's short, whether it's got a baby face. But I tell you what, the lad there who had a bit of a baby face, he's the one laughing now, and all them are nearly 60 and looking at it, and he still looks like he could be in his early 40s. I'm kind of hoping that's going to happen to me on a side note, but you never know. The point is, the main battle of this is going to be with your head. If you let it beat you, that's when you're going to be in trouble. I know we said we touched sort of on some medical stuff. Not a doctor, I don't want to get sued, don't sue me or anything like that. If you have genuine like medical concerns that you're not developing properly, obviously go and see a doctor. If you're exceptionally short and you potentially want to look at a healthy level of growth hormones, if you're getting to, if growth stuff, maybe a little bit early in teenage years, testosterone stuff, I wouldn't start worrying about that till you're getting closer to 18. For me, just because I've had my surgeries and I'm on warfarin, there was nothing they could do anyway. Like I wouldn't be allowed to have hormones, I wouldn't be allowed to have testosterone replacement should I need it. So I've never actually got any of that done, because there's nothing I can do to change it, so there's no point. Like, I live a completely healthy life, I just look a bit younger than everyone else. Get yourself in the gym, be as strong as you can, eat as healthy as you can, be as intelligent as you can, do all the things that you should be doing anyway. There's a reason the baby-faced assassin is a very known little phrase. When it comes to your 50s, you'll be the one laughing. It's a mental battle, not a physical battle. Just don't let it bother you, because it doesn't bother anyone else. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. I do appreciate you guys who stick around. If you did find any of it useful, please do consider liking, subscribing. As always, comment any other thoughts you have. My socials are in the bio. I drop 2 videos every week, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care, guys.